Well, the major unmet need in PBC, I believe, are represented by symptoms, specifically chronic fatigue and chronic itch. These are real problems with no effective therapies in case of fatigue and limited effective therapy for chronic itch. They represent significant issues for patients, and we should tackle these probably in clinical trial design, going beyond the treatment of disease progression and focusing also on the improvement of the patient quality of life. There is an important need to improve patient-physician conversation to optimize PBC management. Physicians should have an honest conversation with their patient by explaining what we currently know about the disease, about the disease course of PBC, about the probability of the disease to progress with and without the medication that we have. We are very much focused on survival, on complications, while the patient is more concerned about living a good quality of life, going to work without being worried about symptoms, living in a good socialization with their peers. So I think it's very important, this exchange of point of view between with all the stakeholders. Indeed, what we are trying to do. Patients with PBC can have a normal lifestyle and can have a normal life expectancy. I believe patients are becoming more powerful. They are taking more the ownership of the disease. They are more involved in their management. It is important to look beyond the liver to improve patient quality of life, and we should have an holistic approach to PBC patient, explore additional causes for the symptoms, for the fatigue, itch, and cognitive symptoms, isolation. The PBC meeting in Rotterdam was an outstanding meeting for the PBC community. The most important take-home from my perspective is the report from some patients that no advice was offered during the clinical visit in the majority of patients. In a recent survey that was presented, with only few patients getting informed of potentially helpful lifestyle changes. And it felt like we neglected entirely this very important clinical aspect while focusing only on disease progression. Looking ahead the next 10 years, the goal for PBC, I would like to see achieved, especially in terms of quality of life, is the full control or prevention of symptoms, starting from itch with medication that have a limited interaction with other drugs and no or very limited side effects. This is very important.